Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I am Felicia Lowe from SweetGeorgia, and welcome to the live office hours for the School of SweetGeorgia. This is our monthly live stream for the school, and I'm so glad that you're here. I can see you guys all in the chat here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Now, if this is your first time joining us, welcome. This is just a moment for us to get together every month on the last Thursday of every month, just to talk a little bit about what's been happening inside the school, catch up about, all the things that have been coming out and all the new content that's been coming out. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a little bit about the courses, the many courses that we have coming up very shortly in the next couple of months. And I'm also going to share a little bit about the details of the courses that I am currently personally developing and working on right now. As always, we're going to talk about some upcoming events and things like that, things where the members, where all of you guys, where all of us can all gather and connect and spend some time together in real time or not. We'll also talk a little bit about the forums and Discord, where we're having a lot of conversations and answering questions and things like that. Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here. I can see you guys are from Spain, Pearl from Washington, South Africa, Pennsylvania. Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for being here today. And finally, the highlight of these sessions is really that we get a chance to share a lot of the projects that you have all been working on. So anything that's been shared in like the Share Your Wins section of our forums, we take some time to highlight them so that way other members can also see what you've made. And it's a really nice time to just celebrate this sort of the successes and the wins and progress that everybody has been making. Now, these live streams usually go for about an hour. So if you can't make it at this time or you can't stay for the entire time, that's totally fine. What we do is we do record all of these sessions and they will get archived into the School of SweetGeorgia later. So you can watch them at any time at your own schedule. And so with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into today's topics. We have sort of the same kind of system. Let me see if here. Here. There's too many things going on. Here we go. This is our agenda for today. What we're going to talk about, we usually talk about what's top of mind first, and then we'll talk about sort of like the latest updates that are coming out in the school, events, community. There's Q&A scheduled here, and if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat and then we can talk about them as we go. And of course, the big Share Your Win section. And yes, the background music is still going and it's done. Thanks, Pearl. So let's talk about, well, you can see here, there's a giant photo here of all of my warp chains, my undyed warp chains, and I'll talk about those in a little bit, but that is part of the project that I am working on. And yeah, no, the music did stop. So what is top of mind? We can talk about that first. And the very first thing that is top of mind is always kind of like the content that I'm working on, the projects that I'm working on and things like that. And right now, the biggest thing that I'm working on behind the scenes is getting ready for the trade show that's coming up. So that is the H&H trade show in Chicago or the Chicago area. It's at the beginning of May. This is something that we're working on sort of in the background. This year, Teresa and I are going to go there. And so basically, this is a trade show for crafts, for yarn, for needle arts in the United States and, well, in North America. A lot of people come from all over to set up booths and to talk about yarn, to talk about trends, to talk about design, all sorts of things like that. And so we have pretty much been going to whatever trade show has been going on in the States every year for many years, probably for a lot of years. And it just kind of gives us a chance to see what's happening in the entire industry as a whole. What are people interested in? What's been trending? What's really popular right now? Like last year, there was a whole bunch of crochet amigurumi everywhere. Karen is going to be attending this year, so we're very excited about that. And so I wanted to mention that the trade show is open to anybody who is also involved in the crafts industry in some way, shape, or form. So if you are teaching, if you're designing, if you're a yarn dyer, if you're any of those kinds of things, it's very possible that you would be able to attend this industry trade show. And if you are, it would be lovely to see you and meet you in person. And so I'm excited. Karen is saying, who else is attending? And yeah, if you are attending, it would be wonderful if you came and said hi and we could get a chance to meet. If you do come, there's like a bunch of things that are happening. I'm going to attend the Content Creator Summit, which I think is a new thing this year, just learning and meeting other people who also make content about the fiber arts or in this craft industry. We're also doing a sort of uh, a sample it kind of kit, just to show off like a new collection of colorways that we have coming out for the fall. And finally, I am going to be on a panel. I'm going to be a panelist on a talk that's hosted by the Hand Weavers Guild of America, that's HGA, and they're going to be doing a talk about using knitting yarn in weaving, which is something that we talk about all the time and want to do and want to encourage other people to do as well. And so, yes, that's the talk that we're doing this year. Last year, I was on a panel doing a talk about the benefits of online education for fiber arts. So it's nice to be able to go into all of these events and meet lots and lots of people. So if you happen to be in the area, if you happen to be able to attend, please do come and say hi. And you're welcome to email me if you have questions about the show or anything like that, about what it's like. It's a really, really great place to meet other people who are doing crafts and doing it in this way. Yeah, fantastic. Let me see if I can show your chat a little bit more. There. Okay, fantastic. The next thing that is on my mind, the top of my mind, is to check in with the plan that I had set up at the very beginning of this year. If you watch the January live office hours, I talk a lot about making this plan for the whole year of all the things that I'm going to be working on. And so part of doing this every month is to kind of keep myself accountable. Am I doing the things that I said I was going to be doing? Am I going to be able to reach the targets and the goals and the things that I've set up for myself? And so a lot of that is, weaving, waffle weave this year, summer and winter blocks this year, becoming really proficient, machine knitting, really getting going with that and actually making things rather than just making swatches of things. Color and design, we're going to be talking about designing plaids, tartan stripes, working with hand dyed color and painted warps. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And spinning, building this consistent habit of spinning so that I can make hand spun yarn to use in all of my other projects. And so we'll talk about that as well. I'm always very curious if you guys have been doing very much planning, if you've planned your year, if you are sort of staying on target, staying on track with all of those things. I know I've seen many learning plans that are up in the school forums, which are absolutely fantastic. You might be following Robin. Robin is one of our moderators in the school, and she is on a number of quests this year. I think she's doing a machine knitting quest, and she's documenting it every day. And then she's also been doing an e-spinner sort of journey, and she's been documenting her learning how to use the e-spinner. She just recently got an Ashford e-spinner 3, and so she's been using that and kind of evolving from the spindle spinning that she's done over many, many years. And so it's really great to see everybody documenting their learning and progress and all these kinds of things and sticking with the plan that they set out ahead of time. So I'll show you here. This is the end of March of my plan so far. Summer and winter is not being woven right now, and I'm going to share with you a couple pictures of what's going on. Waffle weave, I have woven the samples. They have not been washed yet. And so once that's done, then we're going to wind the warp and dress a loom for an actual proper project for that. Hand painted warps, it's partway through, and I'll show you that as well. And spinning for these night shift shawls and things like that. Basically, I am in the middle of, I'm in the middle of plying. And so I'm not super concerned about that because these are kind of more like personal projects. This can be done at any time. I can sort of push this timeline down. That doesn't bother me at all. Spinning to make things again. In April, we talked about this before, we're going to start a make-along, a multi-craftual make-along, starting April 1st, and it's going to focus on spinning stuff, spinning yarn that you can eventually knit, crochet, or weave with. And so this spin to make is going to start in April, and I'm going to be spinning. I was spinning a little bit of fiber last night, and I think I am going to do BFL and silk because it is my favorite. It is my absolute favorite. So I'm going to spin BFL and silk. I'm going to spin it fractal and do a bunch of that. And then you can see it's on my list to knit the traveler cowl. And then I have some other things that need to be done on the knitting machine, which are kind of on hold right now. But in any case, these are all the things that are happening. And behind the scenes, I am cranking socks every month, because for the sock club that we do, the yarn club that we do, I am cranking a pair of socks for every month of that subscription club. And that has been really, really fun because I want to be able to compare them all at the end of the year. But this is basically what is happening. And I'll show you a little bit about the current status of things. So you can see this is a lovely sample of my summer and winter project that was on the loom that I'm sampling. And so I'll show you kind of what's going on here. No, it's going to be here. So you can see here that I have, this is the first sample that was on my loom. So this is what I started with. I started with just 2 colors, working with these little blocks, and then I started to add more colors. There's 4 colors here, and kind of like random placement, kind of random order, trying to figure out like what would look good. This sample was woven at a set of 16 ends per inch. This is 8-2 cotton, and it's nice, and it's it's a nice drapey cloth. This would make a nice dish towel. This would make a nice kitchen towel. But again, I was trying to figure out these blocks, how they're going to look. And then I started to do a little bit more sampling as well. So this is, working with smaller rectangles instead of trying to get squares, seeing what the design might look like for that. Again, experimenting with a bunch of different colors and everything like that. And I think at the end of the day, what I did was I reslayed for 18 ends per inch. And so this is summer and winter. The idea is that in the background, theoretically, we should also be getting plain weave, and then we're interleaving this supplementary weft in here. And so for that, we want sort of like a plain weave set. So I went to 18. This is 16. So you can see by going to 18, I am getting a slightly, or I'll line them on this side. I'm getting a very slightly narrower fabric because it's a little bit more compact, a little bit more dense at 18 ends per inch. This one also hasn't been washed yet, so once I wash it, it will also squeeze in a little bit. But I'm liking this sample the most just because it's a simplification of colors, of systems. I can do a bunch of things like choose any 3 colors plus white and make a bunch of different kits out of this. And so this is probably going to be the foundation for the summer and winter project that I'm going to develop. And this will become kitchen towels. You could wear it as a scarf. You could change the colors out. You change the yarn out. Maybe you use 100% silk yarn and make this into a scarf project or whatever it is. But I think that this is the swatch that's going to become the foundation for the project that I'm working on. And so you can see it's just been a lot of sampling behind the scenes, things happening behind the scenes, and that's part of what is going on. So yeah, that is something that I've been working on behind the scenes. And then the other thing that I've been working on is we have been talking about doing these hand painted warps for the other class that we're doing, hand painted warps. So I'm going to show you. This is my hand painted warps as they were wet. I dyed these. These are cotton. This is what is it? This is 8-4 cotton. It's mercerized cotton, and it's been dyed with fiber reactive dyes. Greta was there when I dyed it, and as I was applying color, I was like, "Oh, that looks really, really dark. That looks darker than I actually want." But I just kept waiting for it to dry because I was thinking sometimes things look better after they've dried. Sometimes things lighten up significantly. I've done that with fiber reactive dyes, and I've dyed colors that I love. And then after it's dried, I'm all disappointed because they all faded and they look kind of pale. And I didn't like that as much. So I was waiting for these to dry and become more pale. Uh, so I'm going to show you what that looks like now. So this is what the warps look like now, and they are still very dark. They're very, very, very dark. There's some sections that look almost black. And so the warp chains that I showed at the very beginning of this presentation today, those 5 undyed warp chains, those are all the warp chains that I wound again for a second time. So what I'm going to do is I am going to re-dye all of this because I don't like it. There's nothing particularly wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with this yarn. It's perfectly fine. I just don't like the colors and how they turned out. And so I want to do them again. And so that's part of the entire process of making one of these classes. So this is the cotton warp that we've dyed for the hand painted class. And then I'll show you the 2 protein fiber warps that we dyed. So this is the protein fiber. This is a merino no, it's mohair silk sock is the yarn that we're going to use for the other scarf. And this one is the other color that's going to go with it. And so these 2 warp chains are going to go onto the same loom together in a bit of a striping pattern. And then I'm going to weave it with this silk. This is 100% 20/2 spun silk. And this is going to go in and make some sort of a scarf project. So that is coming for the hand painted warp class that we're working on right now. So yeah, I know I'm I keep looking at it. It's darker than I prefer, but this is also another thing. It's like if we were to take this dark colorway and then put it on the loom and then weave it with lighter colors that could help blend it and tone it down a little bit, bring it together a little bit. So this is something that could definitely be worked on. So I'm not going to just throw it away. We'll do something with it for sure. So, in any case, that is what's happening with the classes that I'm working on. So, I'm going to show you guys what are we doing with everything else. Okay, so these are the latest updates of all the other classes that are coming out on the school. So the first one is, hopefully you know, that the overshot class came out this week, last Thursday, March 21st. It just came out. And so I've seen some people have already started making the overshot sampler projects from the course. And so I'm really, really excited to see all of that coming out today. Lee's asking, what pattern is the sweater you're wearing today? This one is the one by Andrea Mowry, The Weekender. The Weekender in our superwash worsted weight. Yes, that's the pattern. But yeah, the overshot class has just come out. Okay. The next thing that's going to be coming out is tension systems with Kim McKenna. So this is a piece of content that is going to be all about understanding the different drive systems that make spinning wheels work. So we've talked very broadly about things like Scotch tension, double drive, maybe Irish tension, but these are different ways of making your spinning wheel work, making the wheels turn, and they produce different effects. Some drive systems might be beneficial for certain kinds of spinning, and others might be beneficial for other kinds of spinning. And so that is what this course is all about. And so you can see this is a photo of my shacked matchless, the cherry matchless. And a matchless, Shack makes a bunch of wheels like this that are convertible. So you can convert between Scotch tension, double drive, even Irish tension on the same wheel. And so to understand, like if you have a wheel like this, it can be very, very versatile. You could use the same wheel in multiple different ways. So it's just understanding more about the mechanics of how your spinning wheel works. So I encourage you guys to check that one out. That is going to come out near the beginning of April. And then in May, we have our Crackle class that is coming out. We've talked about that as well before. So this is a different way of designing and working with blocks of color, blocks of pattern, blocks of weave structure. And so crackle is going to be really, really fun to explore. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys make with all of that. The next one that we have coming up is with Holly Yo. And so this photo is actually from a course that she taught us um, in previous years, and it was about sort of like the fundamentals of knittings and techniques and finishing techniques and things like that. And as part of that, she designed this set of sweaters. So these 3 sweaters are part of that course. You can go there, you can download that pattern, you can knit that now if you wanted to. But Holly has come back to teach a class about how to grade knitwear. It's an introductory class on, how to change sizes. So if you are learning how to become a knitwear designer, it can be really, really helpful to be able to look at size charts and to take the pattern that you've created and scale up and scale down your pattern in order to fit a number of different sizes. So that is what Holly's going to be talking about. It's very it will be a very, very good class for anybody who's interested in learning how to design their own sweaters specifically, because sweaters need a lot of fitting and, armholes and sleeves and all sorts of things like that. So that's one that I would encourage you guys to check out if you're interested. And that's the beginning of June. And then we have class with Diana Twist coming out. And so this photo is actually from the first course that Diana taught with us on using drop spindles, using suspended spindles. You can still find that class. It's on the school. It is spinning with suspended spindles. And so that is the first course that she taught. And so Diana's actually going to come back and she is going to teach sort of like next level spindling. And so part of this class that she's coming to teach is suspended spindles and also supported spindles and the difference between the two and going back and forth between the two, comparing the two, but is really, really in depth on spindle spinning. So if you like spindle spinning, you love the portability of it, this is a great one to do. It's going to come out July, and it is perfect because it comes out sort of during Tour de Fleece time, and it comes out during sort of like, well, for many of us, it's like vacation time, summer break for schools. And so being able to bring your spindle with you, pop it in your purse and carry it around with you as you travel, go on vacation, do lots of things. I do love this aspect of portability with spindle spinning, and highlighting that in the summertime. So that is what we're going to be doing in July. And then in August, we're going to do the summer and winter class, which is my samples that are going to come out. That's all going to happen. And that is basically it for the classes up until August. There's obviously more scheduled. We have the whole year of classes scheduled. And so those are all going to be coming out, and I'll talk about them a little bit more as we come up to them. But this year, at the start of this year, we sort of like looked at our entire process for how we make classes and everything like that. And, from the beginning to the end, it takes 100 tasks. It's 100 items that need to be done in order to create one course for the school. And so when we worked backwards, it takes about a year to produce each one of these classes. So it's a bit of a it's a bit of work, but we love doing it. And I hope that you guys are enjoying the results of it. I hope that the classes are helpful. I hope that you are getting good value out of it and learning lots and, leveling up your own skills and abilities and everything like that. And as we learn, we are interested in learning more. And so we're constantly exploring new ideas and new topics and things like that. So, yeah. Those are the courses that we have been working on behind the scenes. So we hope you guys like those. So the next thing we want to go to is the upcoming events that we have on the calendar. And so here I'll just give you the overview of what's happening first. So this is the overview for April. As you can see, we have Crafternoons with Robin that happen 10 a.m. on Mondays, every other Monday. So the first, third, and also this fifth Monday of April, because there's 5 weeks, I guess. And then we have these meetings that are the opposite days. So the second Monday of every month is a weaving meetup. So it's specifically about weaving, specifically about, well, you can bring your rigid heddle loom, you can bring a multi-shaft loom, you can bring a tapestry loom, but we gather on that second Monday of every month to just talk about weaving stuff. And then there's also one on the fourth Monday of every month with Greta, and that is about fiber prep. So that's about, carding, blending boards, combs, preparing fiber for spinning, and then talking about spinning. So that is that. And then we have these community-led sort of co-working sessions. So these happen Fridays, 1 p.m. There is a Zoom link that you can join, and everybody joins and works silently along with each other. It doesn't have to be chatty. Maybe afterwards you can stay and chat and things like that. But it's an opportunity for everybody to get together and spend some time making things together. And it has been very comforting to know that there's somebody on the other side also working away at their project. And so that's a nice session to be involved in as well. And then we have this live office hours, which is this last Thursday of every month. That's what we're doing. And then the second Friday of every month, we do a live stream, Taking Back Friday on YouTube. And that talks about all the things that are going on with Sweet Georgia side of things. And I've added one new thing. If you guys are on the Discord, you might have already seen me mention it, but it is this Multicraftual Mondays. And so that will be the first Monday of every month in the evening at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'll do like a meetup for the Multicraftual Make Along. And so I'll just highlight that again because we did talk about this last month, but just as a reminder, this is what we're hoping to do. So, looking at doing a make along with the whole multi-craftual aspect of it. So looking at the spectrum of, maybe dyeing your fiber, maybe spinning your yarn, maybe making that yarn into something that's knitted or crocheted or hand woven, or put it on your machine or put it on your CSM if you have one. So it's this idea of playing with the entire spectrum of the fiber arts like we always talk about. But we'll start April 1st, and we'll start with a focus first on spinning fractal yarns. And so this focus comes from the class that recently was launched by Kim McKenna. And so that one is about taking one braid of hand painted fiber and spinning it 5 different ways. And so fractal spinning is one of the methods that she talks about in her class. And she really skills up, how to make this beautiful, beautiful yarn that she's created. And so that's what we're going to do starting April 1st. Again, like I said, I'm going to spin BFL and silk, and I am going to spin fractal, maybe make it a 2-ply, and I am going to work on making that traveler cowl. And so that's what I'm going to be working on. And so at the end of July, I would love to see the things that you guys have shared, the things that you guys have posted. And if you've been using Sweet Georgia Yarn or Sweet Georgia Fiber for any of your projects, we may ask you and invite you to sort of publish on our main website, on the Sweet Georgia website. We're putting together projects, and we want to do a project roundup of things that people have made using the fiber fractal spinning and what they've created from it. And so we're really, really excited to be able to feature some of your projects and things like that on the website in August after we've spun some fractal yarns. So excited about that. And of course, July is the time where we sort of try for a habit of spinning every day. If it's 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. But Tour de Fleece is basically where you spin every day of July is basically what we say. And just do your best to set a habit for yourself, spinning a little bit every day. In September to December, again, sort of like a 4-month block, we're going to switch focus and look at combination spinning, combination drafting, combination plying, or gradient spinning. There was a call to do gradient spinning, so we might do that instead. But we'll do some sort of a focus on a spinning technique for September to December. October is always Socktober, whether it's spinning sock yarn or knitting socks. And then November, we're going to do some rigid heddle weaving make along. So hopefully you can take some of the hand spun yarn that you've made and maybe use it in a rigid heddle project. But that is our plan for the year of what we're working on. And so as part of that, we're going to meet on those Mondays to sort of chat about everyone's progress and share and all that kind of stuff. And so you can join me. It'll be the first Monday of the month, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be on Zoom for that. on the days where I'm not traveling. There's a couple of weeks where I'm going to be traveling. But yeah, this one is open to the entire Sweet Georgia community. So you can absolutely join us, bring your friends, bring anybody, and then bring your knitting, your spinning, your weaving, and whatever. And we can just sort of sit and chat and make along together for that. And so you'll find the link for that Zoom call in here in the calendar. So you can pop into the community to go find that. Fantastic. And then as well, I wanted to sort of highlight for you that there is a number of different ways that we get together to meet as a school. So all the members have access to all of these different kinds of meetings. And so this is probably the best place to start is to go schoolofsweetgeorgia.com/connect. And you'll see that there's a number of different ways that everybody is meeting. Like I mentioned, we were doing these focus meetups. So the weaving meetup on the second Monday, and then the fiber prep meetup on the fourth Monday. I have a question for everybody here, and I'm going to ask the question to all the members and everything. But the question is if you would like us to record and archive these topic focused meetings, because the first couple of meetings that we had, we didn't record, but we've had a couple of requests from people. And so we want to sort of ask the membership at large and see what you guys think about this. If we should record these topic focused meetups, and then we'll just post them on the school like we do with these live office hours. We make a page for it, we put the video in there, we archive it so you can come back and watch it at any time. So I'll ask you guys about that in the survey today, but you could also pop it in the chat and let me know what you think about this idea, or if you're like, oh, I don't want to be recorded, I don't want to have my face shown on screen, I don't want to be on Zoom. It sounds positive so far. So there's that. And then crafternoons with Robin. So these are the first and third Mondays of every month, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this is a very casual meetup. Absolutely. The crafternoons are not recorded, but Robin will sometimes make notes about what everybody's talked about and share some links and all that kind of stuff. So that has been really, really nice and fun. So, quick things about the community. So, just a reminder that the community is where all of our sort of long conversations, big posts, learning plans, a lot of fantastic information is in the community forum. This is really an awesome space where people are asking very, very in depth questions, getting very, very in depth answers. It's a really, really wonderful place to learn from. So, I encourage you, if you have questions about anything that you've been making or doing, please do ask them in the community forums, because this is where you can tag an instructor and get help. You can tag a moderator, you can tag myself, and we can all jump in and help answer some of these questions. So that would be really, really great if you guys could do that. As well, we do have a Discord channel set up, and a Discord channel is open to all of the Sweet Georgia community. So it's open to the public, it's open to anybody who wants to join. But the instructors don't really hang out in Discord. So if you want like an answer from an instructor directly, it's probably better to go to the forums. The Discord is more casual, it's more chatty, it's more, it's quick. It's like lots and lots of conversation, but it's all really quick, chatty conversation. So it's a different style of communication. So it really depends on, what style you prefer. But if you really want in-depth answers to your questions, I would go to the discussion forums. I did put in something in here because many of you are in Discord and seeing things happen and are on there a little bit more often. I started to add a lot of our events to Discord just as reminders. So, like for this Multicraft Tool Monday, you can see the Zoom link for it is right here. You can click on that to join that meeting. The SOS Weavers meetup, this will take you to our SOS website, and then you'll have to log in because it's for members only. And so you'll have to log in to get the link to that Zoom call and everything. But the reminders are all here in Discord. So hopefully if you say that you're interested in some of these events, it will remind you when they're coming up, and so that you won't miss them. And then you can get the Zoom links anytime you need. So that is in the very top corner. You can see here in the very top left corner of your Discord software, it should have a thing saying events. And so if you click on that, all of this will open up. Okay. So hopefully that is helpful for you guys. So let's talk about what you have all been making. And the first thing I wanted to share is the overshot, because overshot just came out last week. The course just came out last week, and already I'm seeing these amazing samples coming out. And so if you go to the thread here, the weaving overshot on 4 chefs, there are already photos, tons and tons of photos. Vicky has woven something like 30 plus samples as mug rugs, and they look amazing. And then these are the first attempts for Kat, who's one of our members. And so she jumped in and started weaving all of this from like day one or pre day one. So the link to the course is here, weaving overshot on 4 shafts. But you could see like her initial photos, and she's got her circles going on. She's got her 45-degree angles going on. It looks fantastic. And she's doing a little bit of adjusting with tension and things like that, trying to get her selvages really nice and neat. But these already look fantastic. I feel like it's really neat to see a lot of this so far, because the feedback that I've heard from people who've just tried overshot now for the first time, they're like, "Oh my god, it's amazing. This is it's eye-opening how it works and how magical it can be and how many patterns can be created and all the things that you can do with yarn and color and the set and the beat and everything. It's just very mind-blowing." I had that experience too when I first started weaving overshot, so it's really fun to see everybody also going through this as they're attempting overshot for the first time. So it's really, really lovely work, Kat. Really great. I'm looking forward to seeing all the things that you make. Yes, Greta has posted on her Instagram overshot that she's been working on as well. It's fantastic. The next thing I wanted to share is Kat also has been weaving other things. This is, I think, before she started the overshot. This was also on her loom. And this is a twill shawl that was woven in hand-dyed yarn. And it's been woven in a sort of a Dornick twill pattern here. And so she's posted here. And there was a couple of other projects that she also posted. There was a color gamp on there. There's all sorts of things on her loom. And so there is a finished photo of this shawl that's been taken off the loom and washed and everything like that. So it looks absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for sharing that. I also have a photo here of the radiant towels. Kate is working on the radiant towels. This is a project from our hand woven color class, and it's all about optical mixing. So the idea is that you're holding 3 strands of color together at the same time and having those colors mix and blend in the warp. And then when you go and use a weft color, your weft color is going to blend in with all of these colors that are in the gradient. And so if you're weaving, say, 5 different towels, then every towel could be woven with a different weft color, and you're going to end up with 5 very, very different towels at the end of the day. And so Kate was saying, she said, I never wound a warp holding multiple threads before. And so it took a bit of courage to get started, but I took the leap and I'm moving right along. And so you can see she's setting up here with, she's got her rattle, she's got some elastics to cover the ends so that things don't fall out. She's already threaded here. I believe she's already started weaving, but this project comes out of the course here, hand woven color, optical mixing, and then Kate also said that she actually wanted a larger towel. So she increased the number of each of the 7 bundles by 12 threads. So she made each of the sections a little bit wider rather than adding more bundles. She says, I am throwing it at 18 ends per inch, as that is the weight that I generally prefer. So I'm hoping that that all reconnected. Okay, I'm hoping it reconnected. If it didn't, I'm recording anyways. Okay, I'm hoping that this is all good. No. Oh no. Okay. Okay, I really hope that the internet is working. We have electricians here right now. Okay, we'll keep going. Okay, so the next one I want to share with you guys is the double weave blanket. Um, and this one was on the loom last month, and I showed a photo of it on the loom, but Peggy's actually finished it, taken it off the loom. She's washed it. She says the selvage is all straightened out, and she was so happy with the results. It looks so nice and lovely and blended and cozy and wonderful. If you are wanting to make a double weave blanket, the course is here. And so, yes, we do encourage you guys to try that. I want to make a double weave twill blanket, so I'm going to go check that one out as well, hopefully later on this year. Now, the next one I wanted to share with you is this one is from Jennifer, and Jennifer is on chat here today. And it looks so, I really, really want you guys to go check out this entire thread. So basically, Jennifer said it took her almost a month to assemble, warp, tie up, and begin to weave on her first floor loom. Almost every single aspect of this I have needed to do at least twice. So I'm so grateful for this school and for its gifts of encouragement and fellowship. And so she has learned many, many things from this entire process, but I couldn't share all of the photos. But this is one photo of probably 20 photos that she's had of her loom, setting up the loom, every single step of setting up the loom. And yeah, it's actually really, really cool to see all of the different steps photographed in detail and setting up this loom. And so you can finally see she's got this great support pillow for the bench, which yeah, I think it's for yoga, but I think that that one would be really, really helpful. This is a Glimacra loom. It's a counter marsh loom. So she said that what she learned is that every single shaft gets either pulled up or pulled down. And so they all have to be tied up to every treadle, weaving and everything. And so I encourage you guys to go check that out if you can as well today. Okay. And is this, I think this is okay. And then we wanted to share with you guys the spinning projects. Uh, yes, there are connection issues. We have construction going on right now in the studio because we are in the middle of building the dye studio that we've been waiting to build for months now, and so that's all been happening, and so that could be affecting the connection because electricians are in and possibly pulling out plugs of our internet provider. Okay, so let's share with you this 3D printed spinner that was recently acquired by Nicole. And so Nicole has been spinning on an EEW6. She has been posting lots and lots of spinning photos over the past couple of months. Amazing, beautiful spinning going on. And then she posted this. So this is a spinning wheel that is, I believe, almost entirely, if not entirely, 3D printed. And so she has photos of it in pieces, she has photos of it being assembled, and she also has a video of it working. So you can hear, what does it sound like? How does it function? It actually functions. So she says this one is made by Good and Basic. And so this was maybe a couple weeks ago, she set this all up. And so I'm curious to see if she's been spinning a lot of yarn on it. She did post some photos of yarn that she did spin on it. But yeah, just to see how this has been functioning. I think it is amazing, all of the things that can be created with 3D printing. I know there's a couple of people who are thinking about printing their own circular sock knitting machines, printing your own spindles. I printed my own weaving bobbin a couple weeks ago, and I'm so proud of that. But this is like nowhere near as complex as trying to print a spinning wheel or a circular sock knitting machine. But there's so much that can be done with a 3D printer, and it's just neat seeing all the things that are going to be created from that. So I'm excited to hear more about your story with the 3D printed spinner. Oh, yes, Greta has a link to it, so we can take a look at that some more. But yes, go check out the video and how it all works and how it sounds and everything. We have more to celebrate. This is Jessica's post. She says that she learned to spin a month ago, and this is all the yarn that she has been producing. It is stunning and beautiful. She says, I got my spinner a month ago and I'm having so much fun learning and spinning, I can barely stand it. And so these are some of the yarns that she shared that she's just finished spinning. Um, and she says, yeah, she says when she's plying these yarns together, I frequently find myself thinking, "Oh my gosh, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." So that is really, really wonderful. Yeah, it is. It's all amazing spinning. I was never that consistent in my first month at all. I have so much terrible, terrible yarn, but this is stunning, and she's already started to use it. So there's a photo here. This is a close-up photo of something that she wove. And so you can see here the warp yarn is commercial yarn. I believe this gray oatmeal kind of colored yarn is also a commercial yarn that she had. But this purple yarn is her hand spun. And she's put it all together and made a runner that she's using in her sort of in her laundry room and everything like that. But it's just fantastic. It's beautiful. She says it's a runner type thing that will sit on my dryer and it holds my detergent. But I really like how the contrast of the soft lavender with silk and sheen in it is next to the rustic wool. And so she's been making this on her rigid heddle. So she says, I got my rigid heddle last week and I'm having so much fun. And so that's really, really nice to hear because I know that Jessica joined our weaving meeting at the beginning of this month and she was asking, oh, what kind of loom should I get in order to get into weaving, and am I going to like a rigid heddle? What should I do? What should I get? And so it's nice to hear that she did move forward and get that rigid heddle and making projects now. It's absolutely fantastic. The next one I have to show, actually, there's two photos here I wanted to share with you, and these are by Pearl. Pearl is in the chat here today. Very, very excited about that. And so you can see this first piece. So, okay, I wanted to mention this is because I'm really excited to see these because Pearl has also been joining our weaving meetings, and I've been seeing her in various Zoom meetings and things. And every time I hear her and see her, she's saying, "Oh, I'm working on my tapestry loom. I'm working on my Murex loom," and she's like just doing a little bit of tapestry. But I never get a chance to see what's actually on her loom or what she's working on, and so it's so cool to finally see what she has been working on all of this time. Sort of like on these Zoom calls, very quietly, and she's working on these pieces. And so this piece, she says, it's 5.5 by 15 inches, this first piece, and she's practicing sewing up the vertical slits that happen. Okay, so all of these sections where there's color joining in a vertical space right here, they need to be sewn up afterwards in order to not have a hole, a gap in the fabric. So you have to sew those up, and then she was also working on the smoothness of her diagonals. And so this is like a practice piece, but you could see she's using 3 strands of just array as weft, blending them together. And yes, so interesting. You can see the effect of blending all these different colors together, 3 strands of array. And she says she's woven it at 8 ends per inch. Looks fantastic. Lots of practice. And I love this like intentional practice. um, yeah, these diagonals looks great. So I have another one to share with you from her as well. So the second piece is a 6 by 6 inch weaving that she just finished, attempting to learn eccentric weaving, again using just yarns. And she says that this technique was not natural for me because as a knitter, we typically knit straight across. And in weaving, we throw one pick at a time. And so this eccentric weaving is like you're building up these bubbly shapes almost, and like waving, undulating shapes. And so it is a little bit different. So you can see here, like this yellow bubble here, this kind of like an oval, ovoid kind of shape, and then you build up all of the other picks around it. And so everything kind of becomes this waving, undulating sort of feel to the yarn. And I was saying that like up here, this section at the very top reminds me a little bit of like Starry Night, the Van Gogh painting. Um, it's got a little bit of that feel going on, but really, really fun. It just really, you can feel the movement in the piece. And so it's just awesome to see doing all this practice. So it's great. Congratulations, Pearl. Thank you so much for sharing that with all of us. Um, and I'm curious if you're going to continue doing more samples and what is the next sample that you're going to work on and what is the next part of tapestry that you're going to explore. Because I know that we did a tapestry study group maybe last year or the year before, and you had said, oh, I want to keep weaving more tapestry. And so it's neat to see this constant progress and sort of consistent practice towards it. It's great. And I think this is our last project to share today. This is a hand spun sweater by Linda. And Linda said that she finished this sweater about a week ago when she posted this, and it was for a knit along featuring the Franken sweater pattern. And she said, I used my hand spun yarn, which was hackle combed from separate purple, gray, and white fleeces, and also used a strand of Surrey alpaca silk yarn from Canadian Dyer called Bramble Ridge. And so it's beautiful, really, really lovely. She said she had to be very careful to lash on 3 different colors very consistently every time she was using the hackle. And then she would like comb it, pull it off of the hackle, and then use this to spin this hand spun yarn, knit it together with a strand of alpaca and silk. So beautiful. It looks like it would be a very, very cozy and warm sweater. So really, really lovely. She says it was not easy to be consistent for a sweater quantity of top, so it had to be done over several days. Yes. Fantastic work. Beautiful. Oh, thank you for sharing the links, Greta. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of our conversation today. Now, I want to let you know that what we do is we try to do a giveaway once a month. Might not be every month, but many months we do. We do a giveaway. And all we do is you have to go to this link here, schoolofsweetgeorgia.com/marchlive24. And it's basically just a quick little survey so that way we hear some feedback from you about what's been working well for you in the school, what you've been finding good value out of, like what's been helpful for you, what kinds of things you might put into practice, what was helpful about today's session. And in this survey link today, the very important question is, if you would like us to record those topic focused meetings so that way we can share them with everybody in the school at a later date. Some of it is just casual conversation, some of it's just chatting, but we hear that many members just like to have it on in the background while they're making stuff, and then they can sort of know what happened during the meeting if they weren't necessarily able to be there at the meeting. So in any case, there's questions in there. If you answer those questions, we'll do a random name draw for 2 cones of Ashford cotton yarn, like a 10-2, 5-2 cotton. That's basically what we were using for the overshot class. So you could basically get supplies for that class if you wanted to. And previous month, the winner of previous month's giveaway was Lisa Knight, who is also on the chat today. And she would win 1 braid of Corriedale spinning fiber. And so if we haven't already, we're going to be emailing you, Lisa, for the colorway of your choice. So yes, please do go to that link and let us know what you think about live office hours, about the school, about what we can do to make it better, what we can all do to improve all of this. And so with that, that is the end of today's call. And I thank you guys so much for being here as part of this school. Lisa, I just so I will see you hopefully inside the school forums, maybe in a Zoom meeting at one point in time. Maybe I'll see you on Discord, or you can join us here again on the next live office hours. And yeah, I do look forward to hearing more about like your feedback, what you guys think about the school and what we're doing here. And yeah, I hope that everybody was able to catch the stream and it was okay. We did record it, so if any blips happened, we can edit out the blips and then we'll post that to the school and you guys can get that later. So thank you so much. And again, yes, Monday, join us at 5 p.m. and we will start spinning. Wonderful. Thanks so much, everybody. I will see you guys soon. All right. Bye for now.